I was just playing Final Fantasy Legend on the Nintendo Game Boy 2. That's right. This is a review of the Game Boy game that was not a Final Fantasy game, but was considered one in the West for a period of time before we realized that marketing is annoying. Yeah, as you may know, Final Fantasy Legend is actually the first in a brand new RPG series by Square called Saga, the Saga series. And the franchise was affected by what I like to call the Doki Doki Panic effect. They make a game and they want to put it in the US, but they don't think the US people will buy it, so they call it Mario, and then it sells. Except that it's a lot weirder this time, because by this time, when this game came out in Japan, Final Fantasy III was already out. So that was a whole trilogy. They didn't want to bring the original Final Fantasy to the US, but eventually they did, like 3 years later. And it ended up selling better than in Japan. But they never brought the second or third one in. Instead, as you may know, like the Final Fantasy IV came over, and they just called that 2. That creates a whole confusing thing. But they did think, we're still going to repeat the same mistake. We're not going to have faith in our JRPG to sell well in the West. So we have a new one. And instead of trying to establish the Saga franchise, we're just going to say this is Final Fantasy, and they'll fall for it. And they did. So what I'm saying here is, I am literally only playing this game because of the name. Nothing in this game has changed other than the name. It is a Saga game. But I'm still playing it. You know why? Because some kids in the 80s grew up, this was like their first Final Fantasy game. They played it and they got into the franchise for life. It counts. It may just be a marketing scheme, but it counts. So this game lets you freely pick your guild of like party members. You get to choose from a human, a mutant, or a monster. You just make your own team and do what you want. A lot of people consider this, and therefore the Saga franchise, as a offset to Final Fantasy II because it's similar in the way it works. There's no leveling. But it's less stupid. So each class strengthens differently. The human is strengthened by potions that you buy in the store. You know how in Pokemon you can buy little stat boosters and you drink and your max stat goes up? That is the only way a human grows in this game. You need to buy things. They're a money-based class, which is kind of neat, kind of interesting. The mutant works similar to Final Fantasy II. Whatever weapon he uses, he's going to upgrade that. They know magic. They randomly get new magic spells, which was weird. I never figured out how that worked. I just had a new magic spell every now and then. Guides didn't even help. Weird, but okay. That sums up this game a lot too. Weird. But let's see where it goes. So then you have the monster, and they're actually the weirdest of the bunch. As far as I know, there's no way to really upgrade them or, increase their level, increase their stat, increase their moves, get new moves. There's one thing you can do with monsters. At the end of a battle, there's a chance you'll be able to consume the carcass of the monster you killed. And if the monster consumes it, they become a new monster. Not necessarily the one that you ate, but a random other one. And with this, a whole new set of moves and a whole new set of stats. Okay, it's kind of terrifying, because you can just get a crappy monster with crappy moves. But you could also always just eat another monster next battle. The monster was not entirely a useful member of the team, but the most interesting at the same time. It was weird. Again, game's weird. Moving on. Weapon durability. Yeah, in a Game Boy game, they put weapon durability in it. You buy a weapon, it could break, and you gotta buy a new one. Weird. Okay, I gotta stop saying weird. Monsters can't equip weapons because they have their own set of moves. I rocked 2 humans, a mutant, and a monster because everyone said that was the easiest, first game to do. You figure it all out. I didn't have a lot of problems with this game. It was pretty good. It's a pretty good time. There were a few short instances where I was running low on durability, and one of my classes couldn't fight for a couple battles. Little stressful, but fine. The other thing that plays into this is you have no inventory space. You have like 5. It's ridiculously low. So if you try to like hold on to some healing items, you have even less room for weapons and stuff to trade off when you start losing them. So that's stressful. You need to make sure you're very well prepared for any expedition that you go under, or else you might die. The story's pretty cool. It's very simple. It's like a big giant tower appears. I think it appears. I don't know if it was already there, or maybe it was like a legendary tower that some people climb and nobody makes it out. And that's like all you get. You're a team and you gotta go climb the tower and solve the mystery of the tower, whatever that is. It's cool because it's kind of a linear game. It's not as open as the last two. You find the sphere to unlock the tower. You climb 5 floors and then you're in a new world. And basically every world serves as like, where do I find the key? Where do I find the next sphere to open the tower? You meet new characters. You establish like an enemy. It's like a short, quick little episodic story almost. You beat the enemy, you get the sphere, you climb a couple more floors, new world. The worlds are also very varied, as well as the weapons. I was very surprised when I opened a treasure chest and found a pistol. There's like technology, at least that far technology, not like super tech. But one of the worlds is like a post-apocalyptic city, and you get a bike. You go to a bar and you fight people and you steal a bike. It looked and felt just like Akira, and I'm talking about a Game Boy game. So they pulled that off. There's a lot of creepy and weird stuff too. I guess when you have a Game Boy game, it's easy to do that because everything's so simplified and your imagination can run wild. But there's some straight up weirdness in this. I entered like a room in the tower. You never know what you're gonna find in the tower. The tower's full of mystery. I walked into the room. There looked like dead bodies on the ground, and I pressed A and my character said, "This child looks dead." And I was like, why are there dead children here? Actually, I think I took a picture of that. This child looks dead. There are a lot of creepy moments like that. I entered a door, ended up outside with a field of flowers and just a straight path, and I kept walking like, what is this? A man in black was at the end, and he just said like, "Paradise is waiting." And that's all. I just turned around and went back. Turns out he's God, and he's the final boss. Spoiler alert. You get to the top of the tower, and the creator, in Japan they just call him God because that's what he is, and he just says, "Yeah, I made everything because I wanted to see what would happen." And then you're just like, okay, I guess we gotta kill you. So yeah, it was a cool game, but it's an old game, and it's not without its old game nonsense. Let's get into that. So one thing it has over these previous 2 games is that you can save anywhere. That's awesome. Except this kind of makes you realize why saving wasn't allowed in dungeons in the last games, because if you save and you got like 1 HP, you die and then you go back to your previous save. And then you die. And you keep doing that because you have soft locked yourself out of the game. Now that didn't happen to me in this game, but it was constantly on my mind. You have to play this thing in your head, like, okay, do I save here? I'm not super low on health, but I'm a little bit low. I got like a couple floors left. Can I make it? Do I save here to make sure I can keep trying, or do I just accept the death and go all the way back to the beginning? That was a little hard, a little stressful, but it's all good. Here's one interesting thing. I mentioned how the humans gain health and strength and everything by buying items. There's 3 different types of health upgrades. HP 200, 400, and 600. HP 200 costs 100 gold. 400 costs 1,000 gold. 600 costs 5,000. Each of these does the same thing. It gives you a range of health upgraded from 8 to like 20, but 20 is rare. You usually get like 13. And the reason HP 200 is called that is because once you get a max HP of 200, this item starts to only give you 1 HP. That's why you have to start buying the expensive one. HP 400, you keep buying until you reach 400. But think about this now. Do the math. It's worth it to get HP 200, still worth it for 400, but HP 600 is too expensive. It's 5,000 to get maybe like 8 to 13 HP. But you can buy 20 HP 200s at 1 HP a pop, and you will get 20 HP. How much will that cost? 2,000. Less than half of a cost of 1 HP 600. Therefore, the most efficient way to do it is to buy 1,000,000 HP 200s and just use those. HP 600 is worthless. Do you see what I'm saying? You only have like 5 inventory slots to store all this HP, all the HP 200s. So you buy 5, you use 5, you buy 5, you use 5, and it takes forever. I spent like an hour just doing that to get HP because 600 was too expensive. It doesn't make sense. Like, you programmed this math. It's not like you didn't do the math, you programmed it. Why did you make HP 600 so expensive? It makes no sense. All the guides I said were like, yep, you just don't buy that. That's an item you don't buy. Nobody buys that. Just do the 200 thing. So weird. So weird, 1989 or whatever this was. Another interesting thing though is, eventually, like with most games, you get a ton of money and you just don't know what to do with it. But if you have 2 humans on your side, you got a lot of stuff to buy to increase their stats. Here's another crazy, wacky thing that happened. When I was approaching the final area, I just decided, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna max out my strength and agility for these 2 guys. I spent like an hour or so just dumping potions into these guys over and over, getting those attack and agility up. And then I reached 99 and it stopped. Or so I thought. I looked it up, and it turns out they just didn't program the stat reading page to display 3 digits. It gets stuck at 99, but it still goes up. You just can't keep track of it anymore because all you see is 99. So, classic gaming moment, I guess. So I'm feeling very confident. I'm about to go into the tower for the last time. I'm going to reach the top. My guys are 99 strength, 99 agility. Who knows how much higher they are because I can't see. I'm down in my strength potions. I save my game. I see my stats. I have 5 strength. What do you mean? Why do I have 5? I had over 100. Why do I have 5? Well, folks, now's a good time for a lesson in 8-bit binary coding. A maximum range of values in this coding system goes to 255. That's the range. Not 99, it went past 99. Whenever you add, it just goes up and up and up. But when you add +1 to 255, you get 0. The game loops your stats. Therefore, the hours that I spent grinding the entire game up to this point, gaining strength, I now have less strength than what I started with. This made me blood red mad, but you know what? I had enough to just drink a little bit more. This only happened with one of my humans because I learned, and I just stopped giving some to that other guy. So, one of my guys was down. I still had 3 others that were doing pretty okay. My mutant was pretty high on strength. My monster, he's just doing his monster thing. He's just eating. So with the little money I had left, I downed some more strength potions. I got up to like 50 something. And I was like, I'm just tackling the final boss. I'm just going in. And you know what? I did fine. It was just... that moment was bad. That was the low point of the game. I was just like, did I kill myself? Did I screw myself? That was a feeling I had in my head for most of the game. How close am I to just killing myself and ending this run? Because it's a Game Boy game and it's that finicky. I don't know when I'm gonna just fail and do irreversible damage. Nonetheless, I did okay. And that's Final Fantasy Legend. You killed the final boss, and there's like a magic door that they're like, the tower's secrets are behind this door. You know what? We don't need to go. And they turn around, and there's not even credits. The game ends. You know, it's pretty cool though. I guess I can't recommend it because the only way to officially buy it is with the Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend collection on Switch, which is where I played it. So to recommend it, I would also need to recommend 2 and 3, and I haven't played those yet. We'll get to it. I guess I kind of liked it better than 2. It was ambitious on the same level that Final Fantasy 2 was, but with less of the garbage that game came with. It took about 13 hours too, like not bad. 3 of those hours were grinding. A little too much for me, but it's fine. And that's that. That's Final Fantasy Legend. This is a simple game. It's not that crazy. It's pretty good. I liked it. Just a little bit of stupid. But what's a game without a little bit of stupid, huh? Next time, it's 3. It's the real deal. Back to the main series, Final Fantasy 3. Will they throw out Final Fantasy 2's system? Will they evolve it? Will they just do something new? I don't know, but I'm here to find out. Long journey still ahead. Long journey. So let's do it.